those of you who follow my channel, you know I'm a big fan of arcades and the classic arcade games. So let's go over some of these mini replicas that I happen to own. For those of you who follow me, you've seen me post about this kind of stuff numerous amount of times. And after we discuss these, we're going to get into the arcade 1-up machines. And please excuse how filthy it is in here. So we're going to start off with these tiny arcades that I own. I own 4 of them. Not quite sure how many there are. This is the Pac-Man one, and as you can see, it has the original artwork from the original cabinet. And what's cool about these is that they have it's got a nice little lit up marquee. These units run on 3 AAA batteries, which is nice. What I never really understood about this this Pac-Man one is why it requires 2 buttons. If you're just going to start the game, then you really just need 1. But you know, I mean, it's the same on all these little units, so it's whatever. So let's go ahead and start her up. Oh, wasn't really paying attention there. But I mean, as you can see here, it's just thumbs blocking it. Screen's so tiny. It's just original Pac-Man, you know, nothing too special about it. Now, it does look kind of choppy, but I mean, with something this small, it's kind of just something you have to expect. But hey, you know, it's a nice little novelty, you know, especially for the Pac-Man fans. So I'm just going to eat all the ghosts real quick. Not much else to say there. That's the Pac-Man Tiny Arcade. This thing is pretty slick. It even comes with a nice little keychain, if you're one of those people who like to put monstrosities like this on your keys. I will never do that. This will just sit right here. So okay, let's move on to the next one. Next up, we got Miss Pac-Man. This thing is slick looking. Again, just like the Pac-Man one, it uses the original arcade artwork from the original arcade. Same little deal here. We got the keychain here and 3 AAA batteries. Turn it on, marquee lights up. Booyah! Same thing, joystick and 2 buttons. Only this time, quickly adjust the lighting. There we go. Same kind of thing with this, you know, it is rather choppy, if I do say so myself. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's not, like, preventing the game from, like, you know, not working. It works, it's just, you know, the thing about these, you know, they're obviously a novelty. You're not going to use these to, you know, be your full access to, like, you know, an original arcade. This is just something to, you know, display on your shelf or on a table, like what I got all these on. But hey, you know, Miss Pac-Man, my favorite arcade game ever, I'd say, and, you know, I just had to get this. Okay, so I actually cleared a screen there. That wasn't so bad. So that's the Miss Pac-Man one. Now we're going to move on to the next one. A mini arcade cabinet collection would not be complete without Galaga. Never really grew up with Galaga. Well, I didn't really grow up with any of these, obviously. They're way before my time. But, you know, when I was figuring out about arcade games, Galaga is just one that I never really played that much. It's a It's a great game. I love Galaga. It's definitely up there for one of my favorite arcade games ever. But yeah, so same thing here. Only this time you actually get to use the buttons. So let's see. Not sure if you heard that. Alright, let's see here. Oh, jeez. Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but it's the choppiness that I was talking about with the Pac-Mans definitely comes into play here. Ugh, jeez. Looking at the camera and trying to look at the screen at the same time. It's not easy. The button is not very responsive. I mean, then again, whenever you play Galaga and you're mashing the button, it's not always going to be fully responsive, but I mean, it's just, it's, now I got captured. It's just really noticeable here. But, I mean, otherwise, you know, if you look past the choppiness, you know, it's Galaga, you know, I mean, there's no question. It's cool. Again, these are complete novelties. I love them, but, you know, I'm not going to play these over, you know, like console versions or arcade 1-up versions, you know. It's just, I don't know. You know, maybe if I did actually put these on my keychain, or on my keyring, then I would actually use them more frequently. Alright, come on, just get one more, come on! Oh! Alright, we'll do the challenging stage, and then we will move on to the next one. I've only got one more tiny arcade, and then we're going to move on to some of the bigger cabinets, if you will. Oh, jeez. I can't even... Oh, come on. It's like it's going through it. There we go. Number of hits. 29. Pretty slick. So that's Galaga. Obviously, like I said, it can be choppy, but it's... yeah, it's Galaga. If you're a fan of Galaga, you know, this would be a great novelty to put on your shelves. So yeah, all right, let's move on to the last mini arcade that I happen to have. I totally realized that I just said mini arcade. I meant to say tiny arcade, and we're gonna end this off with Tetris. This is actually the first one of these tiny arcade games that I picked up at a Walmart. The rest I got at Target, and they were not as cheap. But here's Tetris. I've never played on the like actual arcade, but it looks pretty slick. It's even got the it's got the little coin slots there. So we're gonna turn her on, and what do we get? All right. Ooh, we get a menu screen. Here we go. That is not what I wanted. So, I mean, you know, it's pretty easy to, you know, put Tetris on something this little, because, you know, it's literally just it's a puzzle game, you know, it's not that complicated, and I totally just screwed that up. I'm having a hard time seeing this. But I mean, you know, this is equivalent to, like, you know, one of those old poker games, you know, that your mom used to always play or whatever. Maybe not just your mom, but just, you know, the people in general, you know, they that's what this is equivalent to. Like, it's so simple to like put on something as small as this that, you know, I don't see how you're gonna find any problems with this. And it sounds pretty good for this tiny little speaker that's in here. So that's pretty much all I'm gonna show. I mean, it's Tetris, you know. So what else do you want me to say? All right, let's move on to some bigger things. Had to do a quick camera adjustment. So we're moving on to My Arcade. This is the Pac-Man My Arcade, and this is a excellent design, I must say. Um, can't go wrong with this. My only complaint with these My Arcade ones is the joystick, or the joystick D-pad, if you will. I just don't find it to be that appealing. That's just me. And you could actually screw this joystick off and play games with just a standard D-pad, equivalent to NES D-pad. Maybe not quite, but you get the idea. But come on, who wants to play Pac-Man with a D-pad? I sure don't. So, anyways, we're just gonna screw that back on. Now, what's cool about these My Arcade cabinets is that they either take, let's see here, 4 AA batteries, which might become pricey if you use this thing frequently, or you could plug in a micro USB and just plug it in right to the wall, which for most people, I would think this would be the better option, but I don't have a million mini USB cables for this thing, so I just use batteries. It's also got a headphone jack right here if you really want to listen to all those wickas, and it's got volume adjustments. So it's nice. And we're going to turn this thing on. The power button is the coin door. Now here comes my, let me, sorry, my camera. Just trying to adjust the brightness there. Now my biggest complaint with these My Arcade games, as you can see, this is an NES ROM of Pac-Man. Now, in most cases, the NES version of these games, they're not that bad. I mean, they're definitely not as classic as the original. And I don't know why I'm struggling so much here. Like I said, this joystick D-pad thing is just not for me. Is this thing, like, broken or something? Could also be because I'm just looking, like, right into the camera. Let me see here. Another thing about these NES versions, the sound is just not that great. I mean, this just does not sound good. But, I mean, it is a fully playable version of Pac-Man, so, you can't go wrong with that, and god damn it. So, I mean, that's definitely a positive with these things. They are playable. They're just probably not the most ideal way of playing. So, all right, we're gonna move on to the next one. Moving on to my favorite arcade game, Miss Pac-Man. Again, same deal. Excellent design here. They really went for the original cabinet look. Same exact. They got the same artwork from the original cabinet. Takes the same batteries, and you can still plug it in. And of course, when you turn it on, as you expect from the Pac-Man cabinet, the NES version of Miss Pac-Man. At least I think it's the NES version. It might be an NES ROM, I've heard. Yeah, I think the joystick on my Pac-Man one might be messed up, because this is feeling a lot more responsive. Yep. Right as I say that. Alright, we're gonna try and adjust that. Yeah, I really don't like the sound on this one. It's just not... I don't find it flattering. So that's Miss Pac-Man. We're gonna move on to the next My Arcade. All right, going back over to Galaga here. In my honest opinion, I'd probably say this is the best My Arcade mini cabinet I've played so far. It just feels really good. So rather than just having a little joystick here, we also get a button. So let's go ahead and pop this on. Once again, NES version. Don't know why they went with that. I mean, if they went all out to make it look this nice physically, they could have at least tried to, put the original arcade version on here. So yeah, it looks much smoother. As far as the sound goes, I don't know, it's all right. It's definitely, it's still definitely an NES version. It's been a while since I played Galaga. I gotta get better at it. Got captured. Oh. Well, that's disappointing. But you get the idea. I mean, it's Galaga, I'm usually better at it, honestly. But, I am looking into a camera, so that could be why. But, no, I mean, this one is definitely, it's a good one. So if you're into arcade games and you want to collect something nice, replica size, definitely go for this My Arcade Galaga. All right, we're going to move on to the final My Arcade cabinet that I own. Alrighty, now we move on to Burger Time. Burger Time was definitely a game growing up I never, in my wildest dreams, thought was a real thing. But it is, and I must say this Burger Time cabinet is very slick looking, as are all of the My Arcade cabinets. So we're going to turn this sucker on and play some Burger Time NES style. So let's see. I always liked the concept of Burger Time. I couldn't see him. Alright. I got a better view now. I always seem to go up the middle ladder. I don't know why. I don't know if that's a good strategy or not. Now, again, going back to this D-pad joystick thing, it just really does not feel that responsive. That's just my opinion, though. Maybe it's just me doing something wrong. I don't know, but I don't know. I can only imagine if they had this on like a PS4 controller or an Xbox One controller. People would lose their shit. Why is it not going down? There we go. Squash his ass. There we go. Now I'm getting somewhere. Oh, right as I say that. But I'm not really trying to play these games like all out. Just kind of trying to show you guys just an idea of what these bring to the table. See, I went up, but it wouldn't go up. Or maybe I just didn't see it. Alright, so game over. But yeah, no, Burger Time, again, this thing is very nice looking. I really, really like this. and I'll definitely try and get better at this game. Moving on. I almost forgot about these My Arcade handhelds. I got a Pac-Man one and I got a Miss Pac-Man one. Now, both of these come with 3 games on each. On this one, I believe it's Pac-Man, Pac-Land, I think. Let me double check. We got Pac-Man, Pac-Mania, and Pac-Panic on that one. Then on this one, we have Miss Pac-Man, Sky Kid, and Mappy. Yep, Mappy. So I'll just start out with this one. I'm sorry. Let me readjust the lighting. There we go. So right off the bat, you can just see, just by listening, it's the NES version again. Don't know what My Arcade's deal is. And we now go from a bad joystick to a bad D-pad. Because they decided to put a... I don't even know how to describe this thing. It's like a disc sort of thing, but it's so stiff, at least on this this little handheld in particular. Maybe it's just mine, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's just not the greatest way to play Miss Pac-Man. And again, those noises, or the sound is just pretty horrendous. So you get the idea. That's Miss Pac-Man. I'm only going to show the main games on here. But what they did with the Pac-Man version, so we click it. Sound-wise, it doesn't sound the greatest, but the disc on here, the disc D-pad that we just used on the Miss Pac-Man handheld, feels a lot better, I must say. And this is definitely not an NES port. I don't know what kind of port this is, or if this actually is the original. I just feel like it's not. But regardless, it's a good port, minus the sound. So if you really just wanted to play without sound, it's Pac-Man. You could never tell when the sound is off. But yeah, no, this definitely seems to be working better. So those are the My Arcade handhelds. This one, I would definitely get if you're into Pac-Man. This one, yeah, I'm a huge Miss Pac-Man fan, my favorite, but I probably cannot recommend this. All right, moving on. So I have 2 little cabinets, or 2 little toys, really. Is what they are, because I found these in the toy aisle at Walmart and Target. So we have a Pac-Man and a Miss Pac-Man little toy cabinet thing. These are by the company. I forget the company. Let me see here. Basic Fun. Thank you. Basic Fun. This is the Arcade Classics lines. So I have Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. I'm going to start out with this Pac-Man one. So when you turn this thing on, yep, that's what you get. You get a LCD screen. And the ghosts are red. And you're really tiny. Now this one came out, oh god, I want to say back in like 2017 or whatever. But I mean, you can get a better shot of it from right here. I just don't know what this is. This looks like stuff that people grew up with on Coleco, like back in the 80s, For them to re-release this in like 2017 or whenever this thing came out, I'll check the date on the back in a sec. Just not good, you know. So let's see here. That is not going to focus. So, oh, 2019. Okay, so that makes it even worse. Yeah. So I mean, I use this thing strictly for like novelty purposes and just decoration, but I would never waste a minute on this thing, to be honest. So that brings me to the my arcade arcade classics Miss Pac-Man. It is definitely a lot more easier to understand, just because they have the original arcade work here, whereas this thing has the cartoon version of Pac-Man. It's kind of like the Pac-Man you see in Pac-Man Worlds. So we're gonna turn this thing on, right? Okay, here we go. So this was a 2018 release. Gonna hit start. Oh man, that is tiny. Let me see. I'll try and get this to focus. There we go. So off the bat, this looks good. The joystick that I'm using feels a bit washed out, but I mean it's definitely it definitely works a lot better than the My Arcade joystick D-pad. It's really hard for me to hold this up to the camera without moving my hands all over the place. But I just want you to notice something here. Watch what happens when I eat the dots. Oh, well, if I can get over there. Okay, let's just try that again. So I'm eating the dots, and then look, I'm going to stop eating them. It like delays. Like as soon as you're done eating those dots, it just keeps going. So I don't know if this is another NES port. I've heard people say it is, but I don't really think it is. I just think it's a bad port. And presentation wise, it does look cheap and it does look like a toy. I mean, the artwork still looks pretty good, from what I can tell. This marquee is literally just plastic with a little Miss Pac-Man printed on there. You actually have one speaker here. This isn't actually a speaker. This is just decoration, because you can see in there that there's a speaker, whereas here you can't, or you probably can't see it on the camera, but trust me when I tell you. This joystick again, it's it feels 8 direction, but I mean, you really only use it 4-way. It's not bad, but it could be better. And then you get a start button. I think that pauses the game. And it runs on, I think this one runs on AA's. I don't know how many, because when I bought this, it came with batteries in it, so... But yeah, I mean, they're selling these at Walmart for like $20 each. Are they worth it? I don't know. I mean, if you're just talking about collecting these and like putting them on display, just decoration, yeah, why not? But to use these as your go-to versions to play these arcade games, absolutely not. So, all right, we're gonna move on to something that's very precious to me. At last, or well, at least for these mini cabinets, but at last we have my beloved Miss Pac-Man arcade cabinet from Numskull Design. This thing is pure beauty. I absolutely love this thing. When I first got this thing, I was playing it all the time. I still play it quite frequently. Before we get into the game, I just want to show off, all the detail that went into this. So you got the artwork there. You got the original screen, or at least the original design of the screen. Those one of those big CRT televisions that are in there, and then you can't really see it, but right up here there's a one of those like cooling vent things that they had in those cabinets. Down here you got the coin drawer. The eject coin buttons act as ways to select things in the game. And then this button, I think it's a reset button because I pushed it one time and the game kind of just restarted. So I don't know. And then you got the start button here, player 1, player 2, and you got this tiny little joystick here. Some people say it's too tiny, but I don't really have too many problems with it. And then you got the marquee here, which, unlike the My Arcade and Arcade Classics, this one lights up. Beautiful. All right. And this is the original arcade. No bullshitting. So we're going to give it a go. Oh, well, that's definitely not the way I wanted to start. I went the wrong way. So it's totally responsive. The sound is there. The look is there. Like the visuals are there. I am playing this one-handed, so it does feel kind of weird. Even though I really only need one hand with how tiny this joystick is. Jeez. Yeah, this is really hard to play in front of a camera, I'm not gonna lie. But trust me when I say the quality that Numskull put into this cabinet is pure beauty. That's all I'll say. Now, I'm definitely not gonna be able to complete a full screen there, but I mean, this thing is magnificent. It is a little pricey, I won't lie. I think I got this one for about $150 off Walmart. So, might be a tad bit pricey, but I mean, I think that this is a wonderful, wonderful replica of the original game. So if you're on a budget and you can't afford one of those $1,000 original cabinets, just go with this. You're getting the same experience, and the look is a lot nicer, and you can't go wrong with this. Now we move on to the arcade one-ups. All right, so we're going to start out with my Pac-Man arcade one-up. I've done a few custom things to this cabinet. Down here in the front, obviously, I got the decals put on here, and on the riser down there. It just really makes the cabinet stand out and actually look more real, because before I got these, they just had the two games listed, Pac-Man and Pac-Man Plus, on the front here, similar to how I have the Street Fighter cabinet here. These cabinets that Arcade 1-Up makes, I'm just going to get a view of the side art there. They are very, very nice for the price. I think I got this cabinet at Walmart for about I want to say $250. Just the machine, not including the riser. The riser was about another $50. So in grand total, I spent about $300 on this thing. But I mean, for what you get, I mean, you can't go wrong with that. So we're gonna turn it on, and I'm playing it without sound because I don't want to piss anyone off in the house. But the sound on here sounds very good. It has one speaker right here, and the sound is very nice. You can adjust the volume, mute, middle, and high. We're gonna play it on mute. So yeah, like I said, you got the two arcade games, Pac-Man and Pac-Man Plus. We'll just do some Pac-Man. Okay, I'll put sound on. No, I won't. That's too loud. But yeah, this is the original game. It looks and sounds amazing. And yes, that is my high score up there, 46,480. If I was going hard on this machine, I would probably be eating more ghosts than I am right now. Playing in front of a camera and holding a camera while playing a game can really impact your performance. If this isn't proof, I don't know what is. But yeah, no, I mean the joystick here, a lot of people say that the arcade 1-ups are cheap. And yeah, they are cheap, but you get what you get for the price you pay, and I think what you get is a rather nice experience. I think it's because I'm looking at my camera while playing this. Yeah, there you go. So now my turning is more precise. So yeah, that's Pac-Man Arcade 1-Up. If you're into arcade gaming and you've always wanted a cabinet in your house, but you just can't afford one, I would definitely look into this. You know, these things are solid, absolutely solid. All right, moving on. All right, so here I got my Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition arcade 1-Up cabinet. This was the first cabinet that I had purchased from Arcade 1-Up. Don't know if that's a good start, but I think it's a solid cabinet. Especially, you know, if you got a friend that wants to play, or you got friends who want to take turns switching off. So same sort of deal with the Pac-Man one. You know, you got your on-off switch right here. You got your volume adjuster, 1-player, 2-player, and then you have a. This is an 8-way joystick. The Pac-Man one here is 4 directions, which is nice. And then got all your buttons here, nice and clicky. A lot of people say that these are cheap buttons and they break easily, but I've had people go to town on these cabinets, and I've owned it now for quite some time, probably just under a year, and it's still holding up pretty well. You know, here's some wear right here. Some of the paint on here kind of wore off. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like. So this is, oh, sorry, hold on. I believe this is, don't know what version this is. It comes with Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Super Street Fighter 2, and Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Not quite sure what version this is that we're gonna look at, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to play this with one hand. But as you can see, it's the original Street Fighter. You know, you can't go wrong with it. The buttons, again, they work very well in my opinion. I'm just getting my ass kicked because I'm playing with one hand. I did manage to land one hit. Oh, two. But you get the idea. I mean, it's the original arcade, you know, and it plays very well. I've heard people throw shade on this cabinet, again, probably because of the cheap buttons and the fact that the joystick is 8-way. But I don't have a problem with that at all. I think this is a solid cabinet, and I'm very happy to have it in my collection. So let's move on to the final cabinet. Oh yeah, buddy, you already know what's up. We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original arcade game, and it also comes with Turtles in Time. Personally, I like Turtles in Time a little better, but that's just me. So what made this cabinet so amazing, look at that. You got 4 players. You can play as all the Turtles: Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael. And they added a nice feature here where you can now adjust the volume, which is pretty solid, I'm not going to lie. So I'm just gonna show you the intro to the Turtles game. Just look and listen to this. Oh, that is beautiful. I absolutely love this cabinet. My only problem with this cabinet is that I don't really have anyone to play it with because my friends never want to play this. They always joke around with me saying that I should have gotten one of Arcade 1-Up's other cabinets, such as Golden Tee or Star Wars, which I could still get one of those. It's just, I'm going to have to find a way to make some room in here. I got a lot of stuff in here. But no, I absolutely love this cabinet. I love it. I just love everything about it. And I'm hoping I'll get a group of friends down here who actually want to play this with me. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed this little video that I just made. I just wanted to show you my my passion for all of these wonderful arcade games. Love every one of them. And as you know, we're going through something pretty big right now. This coronavirus thing, it's getting pretty bad. So be safe out there. Keep washing your hands. Practice social distancing and be safe. I already said that, but none of this is scripted. So, anyways, keep gaming, guys, and thank you again for all your support. I'm gonna try and be making some more. I'm gonna try and make some more content for you soon. So, thank you for the support. Have a good night.